Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing this Lak Savrak figure from Star Wars New Hope, the Cantina. So I'll just get it all out and we'll have a good look at it to see what happens to go on it, sort of thing. So you get the top bit. I think these bases have like sleeves in it. But anyway, we'll sort that out there. There's the head. Quite nice. So I got this from Bounty Supply Company on Etsy. Came all the way from America. So you get his legs as well, which are not on properly, by the way. They're just his upper legs, his thighs, and you get a pair of hands. A trigger hand on his right hand and an open palm hand on his left. Okay, so what we'll do, I'm thinking I was going to use this body, this old Han Solo body. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but what I'm going to do, I'll get him out and boil and pop him, and we'll go from there. I'm not sure if his legs are maybe too big, I'm not sure. We'll find out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go and get some hot water and stick him in it for a bit. Don't need the gun. And get his legs, well, get everything boiled and popped, everything off. And see if I can get all this to fit on. It looks like that should fit over his body alright. Might need a little bit of sanding down or something, but the legs, I can't really tell if they're too wide or not. I'm going to get some hot water and we'll find out. Okay, we're back. I've got my hot water and my cup of tea. If you're going to boil the kettle, might as well have a cup of tea with it, eh? Okay. What I'm going to do, just get him dipped in. But he's a bit stiffer than I thought. I want to get him right in, really. Right, I'm going to give that about a minute or two and then I'll be back. Okay, that's been a little bit over a minute. Let's get him out and get at least the bottom half of him off. Give him a good dry off first. Okay, that's his torso off. Right, we don't need the legs. Got a bit of a dry. Do we need to take his arms off? Yeah, probably. Okay, I'm going to have to put him back in for that, for his head and arms, so back in he goes for another minute. Okay, it's been about a minute, just over again, with this guy. Now I've got to get him out. Get rid of that water. Ooh, why are these arms not coming off so easy? Let's get his head off. I mean, I don't really need the arms off, but just... Why is that so hard? I hope it's not the one where you have to split the body to get the arms off. Do you know what? I'm not going to bother doing his arms after all that, so it's just for his head. Let's get this off, because I don't need to take the arms off. I do need to get the hands off though. Which came off nice and easy. Okay, well that's not needed. It would have been easier just to get this kind of, to get this on him though, wouldn't it? I've got a feeling these arms are the ones where you have to split the body to get it off, which is a pain in the neck. I don't know how I'm going to get these. I don't want to split the body. I think that's going to fit otherwise though, other than that. Let's see if I can do something with it. Well, the arms are a bit... Oh, no, you've got no chance, have I? Yeah, so what I'm not going to use this, just because I can't be bothered to sand that down the body to kind of get that in there, and plus I need to put a white shirt underneath this. So I'm thinking if I make it all out of cloth, I prefer soft goods myself anyway, but I'm going to go make I'm going to make a brown top and a shirt for underneath it, a creamish shirt. But before I do that, I might as well pop all this back on again, because I won't need it. I won't need to take it off. Right, I'm going to go away and go and make some clothes for that. I'm going to put them in there to get hot again so I can pop them back on. Maybe burnt my hand. So they're back in there. Okay, so I've made a two shirts for this bit. Instead of using that, I've made my own shirt. So it's a white one underneath with the arms longer, and the shorter one with like the half cut arms. It doesn't look like much yet, but once I put stuff, close it all in, and probably use a bit of watered down PVA to kind of settle it all down properly. And I also cut the neck off the figure so we can get this over it. His furry chest sort of bit. So what I'm going to do now, that bit what I don't want, all these parts here I'm going to go and get them primed up. Yeah, so I'm going to go do that and then I'll be back. Okay, I've just given all these a prime, the hands, the feet there, this neck piece, and the two upper legs, thighs, which just kind of touch dry but they're not proper dry yet. Oh, see, I've just touched that and it's still wet. And that thigh there as well. And I've primed the head. So the primer I used is Humbrol acrylic primer, grey, number 1 I think it is. Anyway, I'm going to leave it all to dry, then we're going to start painting them up. Okay, everything's pretty much painted up, pretty much. I've still got to do his eyes, so I'll leave that till tomorrow. I'm going to let this paint dry properly. I mean, it is dry to the touch, but you know, it's good to let it go off for 24 hours or something before you do anything with it. So there's his head anyway. Like I said, I've just got to do his eyes. And then obviously his neck bit. And his legs. And what I'll do tomorrow when it's dry properly, I'll give him a clear coat varnish, matte varnish over everything. And his two hands. Yeah, I'll give it a matte coat of varnish over these bits. And then put everything back together, then tighten this coat up. I've got to make a belt for him to go around there, which I'll do out of a bit of styrene, probably. Get that painted and then kind of weather it a bit. Probably going to use on this, because it's soft goods, I'll probably use a bit of watered down PVA just to kind of get it settled. And I might wrap these arms in something as well so they go a bit tighter around there, and this short sleeve part needs to be tucked underneath to give it a kind of puffy look. You know what I mean when I've done it anyway. Anyway, I'm leaving that until tomorrow now. Okay, it's the next day, and as you can see, I've tidied up the jacket, or whatever you want to call it, a bit. Everything's nice and dry now. So I've had one problem, is the hand's broken. It snapped, I dropped it, and also when I dropped it I broke the foot as well on one of them. Which one was it? It must be the right foot. But there's not much movement in the feet anyway, so what I've done, I just glued the foot. But with the hand I'm going to have to drill out a little thing and put a pin in it, so we can use it as a proper hand what can at least turn. Because otherwise it's no good, is it? And this hand is a little bit loose with that, so I'm going to have to wrap something around there just to thicken it up so it goes in and doesn't fall out. I'm not going to glue it on, I think, because you want to be able to rotate it probably a little bit. And also I've got to make a belt which will go around like that. I've got the material for it, so it's going to be a black belt. It goes around about there. His head turns around. I've just put a bit of blue tack on the end of that just to fill in the hole, so it's a good fit. And I've got to do his eyes. So once I've done all that, I'm going to give it a varnish, a matte varnish over everything, just to seal it all in. And with the jacket, because it's material, what I might do, I might just put a little coat of PVA water over it, watered down PVA, just to kind of so everything holds in place, sort of thing. Although it's not too bad anyway, but you see all these like little fluffy bits here, they start pulling off if you're not careful, you know what I mean? All these bits there, so I'll probably give it a PVA and that'll hold that everything in place then. So I'm going to go away, do some of that, I'll be back. Okay, so I've fixed the right hand now. So what I've done, I got a metal nail and just drilled a hole in it and glued it in. So now it just slides in. I have to drill up the arm a little bit just to get it fixed. Thought I'd make it a bit longer so it don't fall out so easy, because this original one, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to come out really with that little stem. I was thinking about putting a nail on both, but I don't think I will. I mean, it stays in there, so, but that's just the way it's designed. It's just a pin. So that's done anyway. So next I think I'm going to start doing his eyes. Be back then. Okay, I've done the eyes. If I can get you to see them. There's not really much to it. I looked on the line and his eye pupils are not very big, so I've left them like that. So I've got to seal it all in and then gloss it up a little bit. But that's that done for now. Maybe a little bit of touching up, I don't know what that is, a bit of white there. Okay, next I'm going to do his neck. Now I've just noticed when I put that on like that, the way that settles, you see it's kind of risen up a bit here. So what I think, I'm going to stick this on with green stuff and then stick some green stuff underneath here, and then kind of where's that thing I use? I don't know where it is. Alright, so once I start some green stuff on there, I'm going to start kind of like picking at it to make it look like fur, so it just fills in that gap a little bit. Hopefully it won't be too bad then, but we'll see. Okay, so I've done that bit around his neck piece. Obviously it needs painting, but I've got to let it go off for 24 hours, or probably not quite 24 hours, but you know, a good 12 hours or so, let it go rock hard. I've also started putting his belt on, so the leather bit's on. Obviously I've got to put the buckle, which I've cut out, made out of styrene, which I've got to paint silver yet, and once I paint it silver I'll just glue it onto that bit there, like so. And for his legs, because the hole was bigger than the pegs on the body, I've wrapped some masking tape around it to build it out of it, and that's kind of worked out quite well, so that they go on quite solid. But what I'll do, because there's a little gap there, I mean actually when you push it hard, the gap goes. But what I'll do, I'll paint these this brown, the tape brown, so if there is any little gap, you don't really notice it once it's brown, if you know what I mean. I don't think you can see the gap anyway, can you? But you can see there's a little gap there. It sort of looks worse on camera, to be honest, but you can kind of get it right up. Anyway, so that's what I'll do with that. And I've already shown you his eyes, but I've got to gloss up his eyes a bit, and then maybe a bit of a varnish around his mouth, and that'll be that. And also a bit of varnish on his toenails and his fingernails probably, and that'll be that. I'm going to go do that now. Okay, that's it. Lak Savrak is all finished. So that's his head. So all the green stuff there, what I filled in, has all been painted up and sealed in. His jacket, I gave it a little coat of PVA just to make it go a bit harder, sort of thing. One thing is, left hand kind of isn't very well on there. It kind of falls off if you're not careful, because the pin where you put it up the arm, it's very small. On this arm it's right, because that one broke, and I put an old nail, small nail. I kind of cut it and used it as a rod for his right arm, so that's a bit better. And with his legs, I was going to use green stuff on the legs, but I didn't bother. I just used masking tape around it to bring it out, so it fit on alright, so the legs fit on alright. There is a little gap, but you can just push it up, I think. Pretty much anyway. And what was it? One of his feet broke as well. I think it is his right foot, is it? I mean, you can hardly tell because there's hardly any movement in the feet anyway. I mean, you get a bit like that in his left, but nothing in the right because it's glued. That's the thing with these resin prints. You drop it or anything, and everything just breaks. His finger broke as well. Well, I was trying to put a gun. I was trying to find a gun for him. I went to put a gun on it. His finger broke. So I'm not going to bother with the gun. I couldn't find what matched anyway. No, I think it's not too bad. I scrapped the jacket just because it's a pain in the neck to get on him. I might put that in with it though. Anyway guys, that's it for this one. Laters.